Yo, what's good, guys? I'm cooking up some ground beef and rice right now, right before I go use the goob method and dry out before our crazy push day today. We are going to eat the beef and rice because I've been on a meal plan for roughly a week now, and it's actually helped my digestion, my insulin, and my electrolyte balance pretty well. And I've dropped like 4 pounds of water weight within the past week, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, you know, you look at the scale and it looks like, wow, I'm in a deficit, I'm losing all this fat, but in reality, it's just a ton of water weight, which does impact your physique a lot, maybe even more than 4 pounds of fat. But I'm cooking up the rice right now, and then I just gotta warm up the beef. I'm eating 150 grams of 93.7 and then 200 grams of rice, and I'm gonna go outside because it's one of the only days where it's UV7. So we're gonna get a little tan right before the gym so we could dry out a little. So we got the beef cooking up on the cast iron, obviously, and something I found actually recently is making my rice closer to my workout. So obviously sometimes, you know, it doesn't work in my favor. You know, I have one meal before the gym because I like to, you know, wake up and go straight to the gym. So I have my protein pancakes, which I'm back on. But what I found is having 2 meals be rice and 2 meals be oats for my carbohydrate source has actually helped my gut and digestion quite well, and my bowel movements are much better. So I look a lot leaner because I don't got a bunch of stuff sitting in my gut. Something else that I'm going to talk about later that I've been doing is digestion walks. Those are absolutely essential if you want to be insulin resistant. I'll get into it much deeper in the video because no one wants to, you know, have an educational video at the beginning right now. So yeah, going for walks, walking in general, really good for my gut recently. And yeah, it's just been absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna finish up cooking this beef and rice and I'll get back to you in a second. All right, so something I wanna start experimenting with is actually adding my salt and potassium onto my ground beef instead of putting it in my water, because I like to chug my water right before the gym. Mason, don't watch this part. So I usually like to chug my electrolyte water right before the gym so I can get my electrolytes in. But obviously that's gonna bloat me because I'm chugging the water and it's like 15 minutes to get 1 liter in because obviously I'm drinking Evian water. Why wouldn't you? So what I'm gonna be doing is adding my salt right here onto my ground beef, and I want to get no salt, which is just potassium chloride, KCl, or just potassium it's basically potassium in a salt form. It looks like salt. So I need to get that and then start adding that also to my ground beef and rice. So then it's dry. It's a dry meal with my salt and potassium, and I don't have to chug a ton of water. So obviously I'm gonna drink my water, but I'm going to be a little less careful with it, or a little more careful with it. You know, I'm not going to bloat myself to the depths of hell. And right now I don't have potassium chloride, so I'm just gonna use a coconut water. It's got 646 mgs, and I'm using 1 gram of salt, so a little off balance, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So this is what the meal's looking like. We got 150 ground beef and 200 rice, and then we got our salt on there, and we got our coconut water over here. All right, so food is down, dishes are soaking right now, and we're about to go pull off the goob method, which is basically just tanning before your workout, increases blood flow, dries you out, gives you the most insane pumps. Every single video that has blown up of mine has been a workout after I'm done tanning because it makes you look insane, and a lot of people do it. I'd recommend getting sunlight literally every single day, especially if you're a bodybuilder, because the blood flow you receive from it is absolutely insane. Your pumps are better, your vascularity is insane, and overall it's just, why wouldn't you be in the sun for at least 15-20 minutes every single day, especially towards winter, because you want to adapt your system to become sensitive towards the sun, or not sensitive towards the sun, but susceptible to the sun. If you're not outside during winter, fall, during summer you're going to burn. If you're not exposed to the sun, you are going to burn because your body is super sensitive to it. So you want to become resistant towards it, which is your body adjusting, giving you a tan. So that's what I'm going to go do right now. I'm going to go outside, chill out for a little bit, let my food digest. Honestly, might even be out there for like an hour, get my food really digested, and we're going to go hit a crazy lift. Like, it's going to be insane today, I'm telling you guys. All right, so I just took my pre-workout, and obviously we got to take the L-arginine and my creatine into my water. And while I was taking my pre-workout, we spilled all over my pants. So it's absolutely brutal. But I low-key, so I'm on adapalene for some of my acne, and I forgot I need some sunscreen. So I got a little irritation. I might have burned a little. I can't really tell in the camera. But I got a pretty decent tan. We got the blood absolutely flowing. I feel great. It feels so good to be back. I got the dopamine in my brain, the serotonin. It's awesome. And something I've been doing before I lift, shout out TNF, but I honestly been doing this before he even mentioned it, was cranking up my thermostat to the heat in my car for 5 minutes before I go in the gym, and it gives you insane blood flow. However, my gym's quite cold. The one I'm going to, the one I always film at, I don't think is too cold because it doesn't have fans. So I think it should be pretty warm in there. Hopefully there's not a lot of people. It's currently 1 p.m. so sure there's not too many people. But yeah, guys, let's go hit an insane push day. So we got meal number 3. I didn't show you guys my first meal, but this is the exact same meal as the second meal, my post-workout meal. And after this, I'm going to go for a long walk because it's pretty sunny outside right now. So why not get my steps in? So in a second, after I'm done eating this and my walk, I'm going to explain to you guys why I'm walking. And there's 2 main points, which I'll discuss in just a second. Okay, so I am done with all of my meals. I didn't film my last one. Isn't a full day of eating, but it was basically oats, Greek yogurt, berries, scoop of protein powder, chilled in the fridge, ate it, pretty good digesting. For me, I like oats in the morning, and at night, it's a slower carbohydrate source. So yeah, and so I'm currently on 2,800 calories, 45 minutes Stairmaster, 8 speed, and 12,000 steps, and that's what I want to talk a little about. So I'm prepping all my cutting phases. I haven't really focused on steps, and now that I actually am, I'm seeing a lot more results in my cut and also my insulin resistance. So what is insulin resistance? Insulin basically makes nutrients, carbohydrates, go into the muscle or into adipose fat tissue. I'm not going to get too scientific on it, but basically it tells carbs where to go. It tells carbs to go to fat or to muscle. And when you become insulin resistant, which is usually when you're a higher body fat percentage, it prioritizes carbs going to body fat. So when you become really lean, you get really insulin resistant. Another way of becoming, or you become really insulin sensitive, sorry. Another way of becoming sensitive is activity. So when you're active, your body wants to prioritize shuttling nutrients towards your muscles. So this doesn't mean you have to be super active. This just means any muscle contraction. And a muscle contraction could be in the form of dancing or walking or literally anything where you're moving your body. So the least friction is walking, or the least expenditure of energy is walking. So what walking is going to do is it's not going to raise your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So it's not going to make you hungry like other types of cardio. And it's going to burn a decent amount of calories with low amount of effort. So I don't know if you hear the dogs outside. Oh my. But basically, walking is going to be low effort, and it's going to burn a decent amount of calories. 10K for me usually burns around 500, which is honestly a huge margin in the grand scheme of things. That's a pound of fat a week. So basically, when you eat, you want to become insulin sensitive. You want those carbs to get shuttled to muscle tissue, so you don't have to walk. You can dance or do whatever. Do 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes of any activity. Walking is preferable. Another thing that walking helps is digestion. So digestion is huge. I had a bunch of problems with digestion, especially when I was bulking. And what walking does is it pulls gravity literally pulls the food down your stomach. And it also is a muscle contraction, and muscle contractions help your digestive system. So if you're having good digestion, you're digesting all of your nutrients, which means all of the nutrients are being digested and shuttled to the right places. So this is huge. I mean, if you're eating a ton and you're not digesting all of your nutrients, what's the point in eating a ton? So that is huge, especially on a bulk. So you should be hitting your 10K steps even on a bulk. That's honestly even more important than on a cut, but honestly the calorie factor of walking is pretty significant in the grand scheme of things. So that is also pretty good on a cut. So just walk, bro, honestly. But that is all I really wanted to touch on. I don't want to get too in depth. I might make like a super scientific video, kind of like what Dorian does. I'm kind of inspired from that. But yeah, let me know if you guys want one of those. Doesn't even have to be about insulin sensitivity. It could be about anything like bulking, how to cut, how to be cool for the summer. I could make another one on digestion. I got a lot in the tank that I could do. Honestly, I just got to figure out how to screen record on my MacBook. But yeah, I could do one of those. Let me know in the comments if you guys would want one of those. I don't know. Maybe you guys just like the vlogs, but I think it would be pretty helpful to a lot of people if I started doing some of those videos. So you know what? I'm just gonna do them. In the foreseeable future, I'm gonna make some videos on that. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go sleep because Stairmaster has been kicking my ass recently, and I've been going to bed like 10 o'clock every day instead of, my later time of 12. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.